Welcome to Floppy Friday number 14. This is a new one, so we're actually going to be using instead of a Commodore 64 today, we're going to be using a Commodore 128, which was a sort of the business centric, offering that Commodore came out based on, or with similarities to the Commodore 64 in order to sort of expand more into the outside of the gaming business and more into the personal computing business. So this is the system that I picked up. It's got this is a Commodore 128D. It's which actually means it's kind of got something that resembles what we're used to with kind of a PC kind of look, in the sense there's a separate box. This one came with a CRT monitor, a non-functioning one, and this is quite a at the time this is a very decent monitor. It's a Philips CM8833. Apparently it's very good. I had a quick look online. It doesn't function. The power switch works, the light comes on, and the audio works. It's got built-in stereo speakers in the side. I opened it up and took a quick look inside, and then I thought better of it in terms of fiddling around with it, because CRTs, apparently they can retain a charge of up to like 20,000 plus volts. So you can, if you don't know what you're doing, and I don't really know what I'm doing, you can actually get yourself really badly hurt or dead. They can also implode. There's a vacuum inside. It's the sort of thing you don't really want to mess with. So if I do want to get this working again, I'll take it to a professional, because I just don't think that I've got the chops to do anything seriously with it. But for now, what I will do is get it out the way, so that we can look at this. All right. Okay. So this is the Commodore 128D. As I said, it's got a kind of a separate box which has got an integrated 1571 floppy drive, which is a double-sided floppy. So it does still reads the same kind of floppies as these, but it also has a support for a different format. Now, what's interesting is that it's double-sided, but so you don't have to flip the disc over unless it's a double-sided disc that has been written with one of these, because it is slightly different format in the sense that as it's a double-sided disc and it's turning both in the same, it's a double-sided drive and the disc will be turning in the same way, the data is kind of inversed on the other side. So if you have a disc that was written with one of these and you want to read it in this integrated double-sided drive, then you have to do the flip manually as well. So anyways, a little detail there. So the games I wanted to show you today. So, well, first of all, as this is kind of a business-related computer, there is the kind of the possibility of actually starting to look at some CAD programs. So I'm going to take a look, not just at games, I think, at some point moving forward, but for now we're still going to just boot it as a Commodore 64 and take a look at some games. It does have a mouse. I've got a couple of these now, so we can sort of start to use graphical OSs and stuff. It's all quite interesting. I'm going to stick with with my joystick, and what we're going to take a look at today are a couple of arcade games. So this is an Arcade Classics disc from 1987, I think, and there's 4 games on it. The first is Space Invaders, there's Asteroids, there's Snakes, and then there's Space Wars. These are kind of clones of Atari games. They're not official Atari releases. I think these were released by Firebird or someone like that, and it was like £2, so for 50p each for these games, it's not a bad deal. The last 2 are 2-player games, so we won't take a look at those. But we'll take a look at Space Invaders and then Asteroids, because I wanted to then show Mega Apocalypse, which is a game that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. So this is kind of like a very classic, Space Invaders implementation. In fact, let me just turn the volume up a little bit. So yeah, I mean it's Space Invaders. There's nothing very surprising about it. you know, monochrome. Oh, there's the spaceship, there's the flying saucer, missed it. Alright, that one's got, so I can then... So obviously the point is to make sure that you get the lowest row. Too slow. But anyway, lost a thing, but it should still play on. Okay, so that was a quick level of Space Invaders. I'm not going to go and show the whole thing because it's kind of boring. Well, it's not boring. I mean, it's classic. I mean, I do enjoy it. But so the next one I wanted to show then was Asteroids. Now, the reason I wanted to show Asteroids is because I think Fernando Malad, he requested this a little while ago. And oh, that was, yeah, okay. I didn't see that one coming, obviously. So, no, all right, okay, let's take this more seriously. So clearly this is a pretty good reproduction of the arcade classic. Devilishly, I mean, you know, it's for a simple game, it's always been a little bit, it's always been much more complicated than you would think. And I'm not doing very well. So this is Asteroids. I'm sure many of you have played this in the past growing up. Very undeserved high score there. So that's Asteroids. I don't think I'll play it again. I mean, you've seen it. It's nice to have it available. I was quite happy to find that one. But let's now take a look at. First of all, let's reboot the Commodore 128. So what I'll do is there is a reset switch at the back on the right, a reset button. So first of all, I'll use that to just to restart it. Okay. Actually, I'll also take this disc out, the one that had the arcade games on it, and then we're going to look at this one. So this is the Commodore 128, so obviously you can see much more RAM free, 1986. So it looks a bit different, obviously, from the original Commodore 64 boot screen. So what I'm going to do is reboot this. So, but with the power switch. So cycle the power with the power switch, turn it back on, and then if I hit the Commodore key as it loads, then it boots into Commodore 64. It's interesting. This one doesn't make any mention of Microsoft, so there's something inside the 128 which was licensed from Microsoft, some sort of DOS related stuff, presumably. So let's go in and load Mega Apocalypse from this integrated floppy. Okay, so it didn't load from this drive, and there's kind of like a flashing error there. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to connect in this floppy drive into the mix. Let's take a look. Now, hopefully, if I again cycle the power here, okay. Now let me see, load. Oops. So yeah. So this one I've used the dip switch at the back to change the the drive number from 8 to 9, because of course otherwise this one defaults to 8, so I didn't want to have a conflict with that. Let's see if it loads now from this one. All right, so this is loaded. Now let's run it. Now the reason I wanted to show you Mega Apocalypse is that this makes me think a lot of Asteroids. In fact, it's like kind of an Asteroids on steroids. There you go. So Beastie Boys, we are they cracked it, presumably, whoever the Beastie Boys were. Well, you know, obviously not those Beastie Boys, presumably. So let's see, but this is really a very, very complicated Asteroids-like game, which actually I kind of like quite a lot, but it's devilish. So here we are, Mega Apocalypse. Let's turn up the volume a little bit on this one. The Galactic Hall of Fame. All right, let's do this. So you're automatically kind of spinning. So you're kind of having to hit planets. Oh wow, perfect. Round 2 already. That's unlike me. So it's all spinning. Now there is a mode, so you're fixed and everything is spinning around you. There is an interesting mode which, yeah. No. All right, game over. It's where, depending on what you hit. Is that it? I don't need to put my initials in. Oh, come on. Where is it? All right, never mind. Okay, never mind. So depending on what you hit, it can actually it can cause you to also spin in, to not be in a fixed position as well, which is really nasty. I mean, I just don't understand how anybody can play it. I mean, there you're already spinning in space. Anyway, really hard. All right, anyway, Mega Apocalypse, quite a fun one. So this is what this one has really been about arcade classics. So that's that really. I think this is it for Floppy Friday 14. A few updates on some sort of tinkering related stuff. I've got a new PLA, which is one of the sort of main graphics chips, I think, for the Commodore 64 on its way, but a new sort of FPGA implemented one. It's called the Plankton. So that I'm hoping will be able to allow me to repair my second, the non-working C64. I've also got a new VIC-2 chip, which I know is broken, so I've had to get that off eBay. That was like $30 or something, which is quite a lot for an old chip, but they're quite rare, and I'm quite happy to have a backup anyway in case something goes wrong, because they do fail quite a lot because they get very hot. But anyway, so there was some request that maybe I could talk more about the tinkering side of things, but I don't actually feel good enough about that yet, in the sense that I've got a lot to learn. Now there's lots of videos out there already on YouTube that where professionals sort of show how to repair Commodores. But we'll see. Maybe I will start up a Tinkering Tuesday as well as a Floppy Friday, but I think that might be a little bit much for people. Alright, so that was it for Floppy Friday 14. Thank you very much, and see you next time.